Hello, my keto peeps. Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I'm Heather, and I can't tell you how happy I am to be back on live and in the land of the connected. This has been a rough 2 weeks for me. So as probably most of you know, unless you've been living under a rock or don't have TV or communication or any friends for that matter, you probably know that Hurricane Matthew came and threatened Florida and hit many parts of it pretty badly. I live in Central Florida. I live in Sanford, which is a little north of Orlando, northeast. So we live closer to the coast, closer to Daytona, about 25 minutes from Daytona. This was a big threat for us. And don't you know, I was already under great amounts of stress because I was in the process of moving. I was moving only about 15 minutes from one house to the other. So being the proactive and planner that I am, I decided, since we got the keys early to the new place, that I would start bringing boxes over, loads at a time. We would go to the new house and the big house, and there were lots of us. So I said there was no car to ever go to the new house that wasn't full. There were no wasted trips. So I had lots of things in boxes here at the new house as well as the other house. And when this happened, we were supposed to move on the 10th. The movers were coming for our big furniture items on the 10th. But Hurricane Matthew started threatening and was really making its presence known and was supposed to hit Thursday. It was supposed to be Thursday morning and then Thursday night and then Friday morning. But it really started kind of being on my radar that Monday prior. I saw it out there and I was, watching it. I didn't get a good feeling about it. Didn't really think that it was going to be what it was, but I knew that it needed to be, at least be addressed. So I started trying to figure out what we were going to do. I had a lot of boxes at the new house, a lot of kitchen stuff. So I was already in the process of, really feeling out of sorts. And then this came. We had already been eating out quite a bit because half my kitchen was in boxes here, half my kitchen was in boxes at the other house. And I am not good at eating out for any length of time. I have only a couple places that I like to go and only a couple things that I really like to get that I know aren't going to affect me. And so I was already kind of maxed out there. I was under massive amounts of stress with this move because as I was doing it, I realized that it probably would have been better if I had really just, spent a couple days packing up and going all on the 10th versus doing it over a period of really 2 weeks. But hindsight's 2020. Next time, hopefully we won't be moving for a while, but next time I'm probably going to do it that way because it was really more of this prolonged stress of eating out and feeling out of sorts. The animals were crazy. I was feeling they're crazy. They'd look around the house. Nothing looked familiar. The house was echoing. It wasn't great. So then Hurricane Matthew came. But before Hurricane Matthew came, if you turned on the news, I kind of had mixed feelings about it. Like I was watching the weathermen and women, and they looked so excited. Like they'd been waiting so long, 10 years for another hurricane to hit. And they were so excited. And yet at the same time, they were preaching the end of the world, which it could have been. I mean, if Matthew had not wobbled that last minute, it could have been a whole lot worse. And I don't take it lightly. My husband rode out Andrew in Homestead in the eye of the hurricane where it did the absolute most damage. And so he doesn't take things lightly. So I know what he's been through and I know the trauma that he went through after that. So I knew that this was important, but some of the newscasters were even saying, you're going to die, your kids are going to die, you're going to die, the whole world's coming to an end. So that didn't do a whole lot for my stress meter. I was already pegged, eating out already. So then what do you do? I have tools. Like I've been doing this keto living thing for 2.5 years. I have tools. I know what to do. I know how to hunker down. I've, done it before. I didn't hunker down in hurricane stuff. That was 10 years ago last time I did it. But still, I know storm situations and I know what to do and what to prepare for. But preparing for something of this magnitude when I was in between places, I didn't have all of my my kitchen tools where I needed. I didn't even have my survival tools. I didn't even have my weather radio. I didn't have my flashlights. I had zip. It was all packed away and I couldn't tell you where. So I really was kind of stuck. I wasn't sure what to get. All I knew was that in the pit of my stomach and in my chest, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like maybe I would like die any minute. Like really that fight or flight was very, very high in my mind. I could feel it in my body. I was in a very prolonged state of stress for long amounts of time. So what did I do? How did I prepare? I got lots of gluten-free chocolate stuff. I got lots of snack stuff. I got Kind bars. I got beef jerky, the organic gluten-free beef jerky that I usually buy for my husband. I got soups. I got organic soups in boxes or BPA-free cans. Because then I had to get, it was the kind that the boxes where I could just use a knife to open, so I didn't have to even find my can opener. But there's I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that we could die, that I didn't even have furniture. We had to pick a house to ride the storm out. And I had to make sure that both houses were secure for this, and hope and pray that I picked the right house to ride out, and that the one or both houses weren't going to blow away, and that my kids and my husband and I would all survive, and animals and family, friends, everybody around us would all survive. So we picked the new house, didn't have furniture, had to buy blow-up mattresses, and then proceeded to go through it just fine. But there was a lot of eating of junk food. And when the next day, when we got through and realized that we really, got lucky, that wobble happened overnight for us. And that next day we had tropical storm winds all day that following day, but it was like, okay, we know we're not going to die. So that was great. But in the meantime, I had already just eaten a crap ton of food that I would never eat in a million years. I wasn't hungry, but I knew that my body was craving greens. So I had just recently found this amazing organic broccoli slaw and a prepackaged broccoli slaw in the produce section. And I've used my olive oil from the specialty store and their fabulous honey ginger vinegar, balsamic vinegar, and make kind of like an Asian slaw out of it. And that's all I ate. So that's all I ate the next day because I had done so much damage from the previous days. So as soon as we get through the storm, we're back on track to finish the move. Again, moving is in the top 3 most stressful things in your entire life. You've got death, divorce, and moving. So we had moving. We had Hurricane Matthew, which if you were watching TV in Central Florida, death would have been imminent. I'm sure you would have felt the same way. And then on top of it all, I had a birthday for my 47th birthday. So I was already feeling old and crappy, and this was not the time to be celebrating turning a year older. But I'm starting to finally settle. The house is sort of settling. My room is almost done. Like all the boxes have been unpacked for pretty much since day 3 of the movers bringing all the big stuff over. Like everything's put away. I've just got a few more pictures to hang on the wall. But this has really been some of the most stressful time that I can remember for a prolonged time. Like I go through, the normal stress like we all do, stressful moments, stressful days, but it has been 2 long weeks of back-to-back stress. And what I realized during that time was the more I was eating like crap, the more I was beating myself up. So I wasn't doing myself any favors there. And the worse I felt about it. I also physically felt the toll of eating out of stress. And I started recognizing that some of the choices that I was making were stress related, that it had nothing to do with me being bad or me being not committed or any of those labels that I could fall back to, that this was really just a stressful situation and that I didn't have all the tools, or I didn't use all the tools that I have. Like meditation, forget it. That went out the window. Finding some me time or, doing something for myself. went out the window. I mean, like there was deadlines. There was things that I actually needed to get done. Now I'm starting to feel like I can breathe again, and I'm getting back on track. I've been able to cook. I was able to cook my first meal in the kitchen just a couple days ago, and that was fabulous. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting back into it. This was a blip. This was not anything other than just trying to cope and survive and hope that we all make it through this Stormageddon. And I know some of you are like not on this coast and are on the West Coast and have just dealt with your own Stormageddon, whether you got hit hard or not. I know some people got hit hard, some people didn't. There's always going to be these stresses, whether it's a storm or a death or a move or a divorce, whatever that stress may be in your life. I don't want to give you permission to go out and like just eat like crap and just kind of have a free for all. But I also, just coming from this personally, like do what you can, do the best that you can, give yourself a little grace, give yourself a little space to get back on track, give yourself a time frame. Like, okay, I'm going to do this now, but I have a plan to get back to where I need to go just as soon as I can. Whatever that may be. For me, it was really kind of figuring out, hey, when can I stop eating out? When can I start cooking again in my kitchen? When can I start making healthier choices? And sometimes the healthy choice was literally out of a bag and it was organic broccoli slaw with oil and vinegar. Like, great. That's maybe not the ideal meal, but it's a whole lot better than some of the choices that I was making, Kind bars and, potato chips and just like, I don't even want to tell you because it's really not pretty, but I do want you to know that I'm totally human. I go through all of these same emotions and same stresses, and I'm still able to get back to doing keto. I don't always have the best coping skills. I hope that some of you have better coping skills. I'm working on it. I'm totally a work in progress. I really wish I had used and defaulted my meditation and some prayer and some silent time and some me time and maybe some pampering or whatever, but I didn't. And instead I got my comfort out of a bag. It happens to the best of us. But the best news about, and I forgot to even say, like the most stressful part, we survived Hurricane Matthew. Nothing. We got the move, everything else. My cable and internet company, September 20th, I had already told them we're moving. This is the move time. No problem. I had an install date ready for October 10th. They were going to come between 9 and 11. Got the email on Saturday the 8th. Got the text message on Sunday, the day before. 2:30 in the afternoon on Monday, I called them. They had canceled my service. They said, yeah, we see where you were supposed to move and somebody canceled it. And as soon as we can get out there is Monday the 17th. So as of Monday, it wasn't until 9 o'clock at night that I began to have internet service, and I have crappy cell service in my new place. Virtually no cell service. And so that meant that I was offline without internet, without connection to all of you, to all of my members, to all of my clients, to all the people that I'm connected with on a daily basis. I had no connection. So even my support group, because as much as I am supportive of my group and of my members, they also support me. I didn't have any of that. So I just have to say I'm grateful to be back. I'm grateful to have tools to be able to get back to eating keto and really, thriving again and feeling good and having energy, and my stress levels are slowly coming down. My house is getting settled. I'm somebody that nests and needs that space to be settled. I have connection again. I feel like I'm a part of the real world. No longer am I standing in the aisles of Target hogging up the lane because I'm having to stop to check my post or to see if I could even send a post. So this has been challenging. I'm so glad that you're here. I promise you next week is going to be huge. I'm going to be unveiling some of my tips and strategies for holiday survival. So like we've got hurricane survival, which we know didn't go so well, but I survived, so that's good. My kids survived, my animals survived, my husband survived. Sanity, I don't know, questionable, but we survived. Next week, we're going to start talking about holiday survival because I want you guys to go into the holidays having your feet firmly on the ground, knowing that you've got a game plan, knowing that you've got support set up, and knowing that you've got some new recipes that I want you to try before you have people over or go to people's houses. So you know you can be confident that not only is there going to be something for you to eat, but other people are going to absolutely love what you're bringing them, and they're never going to know it's even keto, or you never even have to tell them. So until next week, I hope you join me next week. I'll be back here at 8 p.m. God willing that there's no hurricane, internet, whatever issues. But until then, I hope you have a great week. Next week, we'll be talking holiday survival. Until then, next week. Bye-bye.